What's good, everybody? Long time no see. I've been all over the place, but we are officially back talking about Avengers, of course. I see a lot of familiar faces. What's good, Sadat? Looking forward to catching back up with you guys, bro. I know I've been in the background, for the past few days. Had a it's been rough, but we kind of pulling out of that rough patch. But definitely starting off with some shout outs to the chat. I see my nephew here, Capte. We got Matthew, he first. Virgil, what's good? Nikita, Keyman Gaming, Pisa, Gilbert, Storm, and T'Challa here. Lucky Gaming 19, M, Vaping Gamers. What's up, bro? Appreciate you coming through. I know you probably working. Wise is here. Who else we got? Um, I think I shouted out Gilbert. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's everybody. I think I caught everybody. Sorry, you got to come back to Avengers. Hey, I'm not, bro. I low key kind of been missing it. That's what time away does for you. It gives you a chance, to kind of, um, just alter your perspective a little bit and just miss them a little bit. And it's good to miss Avengers a little bit. You know, Nikita, you just picked up Gotham Knights. That's what's up, bro. I hope you enjoy it. I haven't played Gotham Knights. I haven't been playing much of anything. I've been doing much of anything the past few days. Like I've literally just been in the cut, but I'm pulling myself up out of that now. And I just wanted to start the week off with a stream, catch up with everybody. I've been kind of watching stuff a little bit, kind of reading up on different things a little bit, checking for things here and there. But there is nothing major to report for Avengers, but they do have some interesting things coming up. Mainly on the Embracer front. So, which I'll be getting to that soon. I'll let you guys know what's going on that front. But we're still waiting on word about the Winter Soldier, which is why I posed the question of can the game continue to survive under these kind of circumstances, like under these kind of conditions where the marketing has taken a bit of a turn from what you were seeing last year. Like this time last year, the marketing it wasn't great, but it was compared to this year, it was a lot better in terms of like consistent information. Like they were giving teases around this time. Well, what's this November 7th? So yeah, they were showing images of Spider-Man. Like around the 15th of November. They revealed who the voice actor was. And we're just showing different concept arts for different parts of the raid and things like that. And that stuff didn't drop until November 30th. So it's like between November 30th and like September, you got a lot of just little small bits and teases and little drips of communication about what was coming and just trying to keep a certain level of hype about what's coming, and that is completely gone for the most part this year. Like they have taken a major step back in terms of communication, and I started a poll yesterday for you guys asking, do you feel that communication will ultimately be the death of the game, like, or the lack of communication, more so? And a large amount of you guys, agreed that yes, you feel communication is, slowly killing the game. And I think I know there's a core group of players who no matter what they are committed to just enjoying the game, giving the devs the time they need to get out content. And when I say consistent communication, I'm not saying like every day, every week, hey guys, it's still coming, hey guys, it's still coming, hey guys, it's still coming. I'm talking more so like instead of going long stretches, so maybe a month or more without saying anything of meaningful, communication about what's coming, where you are as far as development on things and things like that. Just small updates like where what you're adding in that update. So like we haven't heard anything else about the traversal update since they announced that will be coming out the 2.6. And it's like I feel like stuff like that is something you can communicate, like what exactly your vision is for traversal changes instead of slapping it all in one blog the day before it actually comes out. It's like, stuff like that. I feel like for a live service game is not asking much. So I'm not asking them to, consistently every day hey guys, we're working on this. Hey guys, here's Winter Soldier's leg, or something like that. I'm not asking for anything ridiculous, and I'm not coming from a place of entitlement where oh you have to talk to us or the game is just going to die. It's like they communicate when they can or when they have something to say, and that is a message. There is a message in that you go so long without actually hearing anything from them or seeing any meaningful communication come from them. So it's like that kind of tells you they don't really have much going on, which in a certain light can be concerning because you you want the game to do well, you want the game to keep going, and you want to see things kind of trend upward instead of trending downward. And since their announcement of the Winter Soldier, being the next hero coming to the game back in August, you've heard nothing about him outside of a few devs teasing that he is in playtesting, and that can speak to a number of things like you don't have confidence in your ability to deliver him on by a specific deadline that you're still trying to narrow down this late into the year. So it's like that doesn't speak well to the long-term future of the game, because it's like you're still struggling that much with just meeting deadlines. Like you already minimized the roadmap, so you completely moved away from the roadmap and moved towards, all right, we're going to do smaller updates and we'll communicate what's coming next and talk a little about what's coming after that next immediate update. And it's like you're still struggling to commit to dates and launch times for that. And it's like that doesn't instill confidence in the player base about the long-term future of the game. Like the decision to move away from roadmaps in general was kind of like a hit to the confidence of the player base. Like man, like at least last year we knew Black Panther was coming later in the year, back in February and back in March. So it's like now you don't know what's coming, and then the stuff that is announced, you don't hear for it for over a month. So it's like or you don't hear about it for over a month, and it's like that. I understand people being concerned about that. I understand there are players who are like, I really just kind of stay in the background, and when they have something to say, I check for it, and until then, I don't really stress about it. But other people who are like, you see all these other games marketing. So you see Midnight Suns using Deadpool to market what's coming out. The game hasn't arrived yet, and they've already marketed what's coming post launch. You get what I'm saying? You know Deadpool is coming. You know Storm is coming. I forgot the other characters. I think Morbius is coming. What he was the most recent character they teased, and it's like Gotham Knights. Before they released, they told you November 29th we have more content coming out. So it's like you see other studios having confidence in their ability to deliver the content that they plan and promise to deliver, and they're not even live service games. So the game that should be held to that standard is kind of failing in that regard. And I understand people's concern, and it's like that's when you go long stretches of time without actually saying anything of value. That's when the community just seems to spiral, and it happens all the time. It's been happening consistently. Like I've been following the community like socially, like online on Reddit, Twitter, all the social media platforms, YouTube and all of that, Discord. And when they're communicating, like this time last year, they were doing like unofficial developer Discord chats. Like in the official Discord and other people's Discord, you can you can have a voice chat session with developers. Like sometimes all manner of night. Like sometimes those voice calls would go from like like maybe 8 or 9 to like 11 something at night or longer, and you're just hanging out. They'll answer your questions. You can have a bit of back and forth. They share some of the insights about what's going on with development as far as like how that works, how they approach it, and things like that. And it's like people were cool. Like a lot of the people who were like the most vocal negatively were they kind of simmer down when they hop into those voice chats. What's good, that boy dude, and what's good to everybody who's popped into the chat recently. I did shout outs earlier. I'm kind of all over the place, but I appreciate you guys being here as always. And I forgot to say at the start of the stream, if you can, or if you just popped in, make sure to leave a like. That definitely helps and supports the channel. and I greatly appreciate that. But yeah, it's like when they're communicating, the community is a lot less volatile, I would say. Like, and then once they start going long stretches, so like maybe that once you start getting into that second or third week of just nothing but skin promotion, that's when the negativity starts to set in. And the longer you go, the worse it gets, to the point where you see, players attacking each other. Everybody's super down on the game. Everything, and that starts to affect other players' outlook on the game. So now the people who were optimistic and hopeful, they're being affected by the negative outlook of everyone else. So they're like, oh well, it does seem like the game is dying. Like now, a current narrative that's forming is the Winter Soldier is it. So once he comes, whenever he comes with Clone Lab, that's it. The plug is going to get pulled eventually. They're not going to have any content coming out next year, and that begins to gain more and more steam the longer they sit around and not communicate anything. So you don't get any real blogs. You're not getting any social media posts. There have been no dev streams. You feel what I'm saying? It's like it it's not hard. It's not easy to combat that that thinking when there isn't really anything to support that thinking that things are going to get better or things will pick back up and things like that. So it's like I get it, and we know Winter Soldier is supposed to come. We know Cloning Lab is supposed to come. What's up, Jace? Um, yeah, what's up, Virgil? Yeah, I reached 7K subs a while ago. This I gotta update that. I guess like I said, I've been my mind has been all over the place, man. I had a funeral yesterday. I've been trying to catch up with family while they were in town and stuff like that. So it's like I gotta restructure a little bit. But yeah, we know Cloning Lab is coming, and I see ADG is talking about Vision, Wanda, Doctor Strange. The road to get there seems infinitely longer now than it did at the start of this year. So at the start of this year, people came into the year very optimistic about what the future could hold because they were ecstatic at the fact that we even got a second year with Avengers. And you got Spider-Man, so they like, okay, we've heard all these rumors about different characters being in the pipeline that we're expecting them to hit the ground running, and then you started the year off with radio silence, and the first real information you got was we're not doing roadmaps anymore. And it's like, what? And then you got 2.3, which was essentially geared towards newer players. You got 2.4, which was a event rework, and then you got 2.5, which delivered the game's first real Echo character. And again, a lot of people were just underwhelmed. They're like, what are we doing? Like, it feels like we're spinning our wheels when we thought we were going to be taking off this year. What's good, Struggler, Bri? Appreciate you coming through, bro. If you've been streaming, I apologize if I haven't been, popping up lately. Like I was just telling people, I've had a funeral going on yesterday, memorials and all of that stuff the past few days. So I've been out of the way. The campaign ain't bad. No, the campaigns are great, and that's something I wanted to talk about. In general, like is the decision to trend towards more multiplayer focused content bad for the game's long term health? Because a large amount of players are very pro single player content, and that's what brought them to the game. Although, because this is a live service game, single player content, because it's not being sold, isn't that doesn't do anything. There is no profit in that, and once players finish that single player content, they tend to move on until more single player content comes, and it's like you can't sustain anything like that. But they are also disappointed at story content kind of being tied to multiplayer content, for the foreseeable future. What's good? Truly appreciate you coming through, and Jeremiah, make sure you guys drop a like. I definitely appreciate it. And what's up, Brett, to you? But yeah, it's like they're and one of the things that it used to irritate me, but it's like now I've just kind of taken a step back. What's good, Shaquest? Appreciate you coming through. And Tavion. One of the things that used to irritate me is people somehow taking away that I'm defending, the developers, I'm defending the game when I'm simply just telling you the matter of the facts. So it's like saying it's a small team working on this game still is that's not me defending them. That's not an excuse of, why they take so long with content or anything like that. It's only a handful full of people working on the project. That's literally what that's the facts. That's what the situation is. I'm telling you that objectively. That I have no feelings behind that. That it's just what it is. And when I say they are working hard on to deliver what they can, they are. I genuinely do believe that. And if you talk to them, they'll try to let you know that, like, hey, we're passionate about what we're doing, and what they've been able to deliver this year, as underwhelming as that may be, they had to work hard to do that. And I believe that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a message in that. It's really hard to deliver what you've got in this year. So you got a Echo character, you got a rework for the events to make them actually meaningful to play through, and then you got Nick Fury back on the helicarrier guiding newer players through the orientation process. That took a lot of work. That was really hard for them to deliver on, and now they're working hard to get this last content out the door for the year. So they're trying to give you the Winter Soldier. They're trying to give you Cloning Lab. They still haven't reached the point where they can, nail down a release date and confidently promote that and say, hey, he's coming on this date. So it's like that tells you something. You get what I'm saying? Like, they're this far into the year, they're still just vaguely saying, oh, this content is coming later in the year, and every day we're getting closer to the end of the year. We know Christmas is coming. They're not going to drop it on Christmas. They're not going to be in the studio on Christmas. So the window for a release is narrowing, and it's you get what I'm saying. So it's like now or never. That's kind of what it feels like, because it's like you still have to do promo for it. So it's like, are you going to do a very small promo for both a new hero and new content? Like, are you going to do like a day of content promo for that? Because that is a major step down from what you got last year, like I said. And you saw small promo for Jane Foster. They dropped a motion comic trailer. They did a small war table, and then she's released. And then, like, I think like a day or a couple days later, they did a dev stream. Maybe it might have been the next week. I think that might have even carried over into the next week, that they actually did an official dev stream to talk to the voice actress, and talk to the developers about what was going on with that and everything. And I was hanging out in Doom Killer's stream last night, where they were talking about Avengers and other games and stuff like that. And somebody mentioned that it seems like the developers during these streams don't really want to do it. It seems like you're kind of pulling teeth to get people to actually put together the promo for this game. You get what I'm saying? And it's like, again, that doesn't instill confidence in your audience. So it's like, can something like this really continue? What's good, Derek? Appreciate you coming through, bro. I've been seeing you hanging out. I saw you going off yesterday under the poll. I appreciate the passion, and like I said, I understand you guys, bro. Like, I'm in the middle of the road. Like I said, I haven't been playing Avengers, really. Like, I did the event. I did some of the event last week, and I think I either read that wrong, or like something got mixed up, because I remember reading the blog last week, and they were saying the event would only last until the 3rd of November, because they're doing a new limited time event or something like that. And it's like, I checked in yesterday, and we're still on the same event, and I checked the blog, and they're like, yeah, this one is going until the 10th or the 11th or something like that. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, why are you wording it like that? So it's like, just confusion with the messaging and things like that is weird. And it's like, to still have those kind of issues this far into the game's life cycle is weird. It's like, there are a ton of things we can say that this game can do better, that we wish the game would do better. And again, it's like, the fact that people are still sticking around, I feel like, is a merit to how passionate players are about this IP specifically. Because if this was a original IP, this game would have died. This game would not have made it halfway through the year of 2021. I'm just waiting for Winter Soldier. Nikita, I low-key uninstalled Marvel's Avengers. And that's what I'm saying. Like that's fair, and it's like I swear, like sometimes you really do need to step away from this community because it's like the negativity, like it can be overwhelming, and it's like it's so unnecessary. Like it's, I get you're unhappy with the game, you're unhappy with the marketing, you're unhappy with the communication, you're unhappy with so many things, and for whatever reason, people don't want to step away from that. And it's the same thing with the MCU stuff. Like there are people right now ranting and raving about recast T'Challa, and it's like I understand, I get it. You passionate about the character. He's literally my favorite character from Marvel, but it's like it's a complicated situation, and it's like sometimes you just need to take a step back and like with this game, and then you got the negativity surrounding Gotham Knights and just gaming in general. Like it can be a bit much, and it can become a lot to deal with on a day to day. But again, people are still optimistic about what's coming next. But as far as the Embracer News stuff, this is what I wanted to show you guys. So um, back in August, they had their quarter 1 report. I know a lot of you guys checked that out, looking for information about the future of the game and the acquisition. But during that time, it wasn't complete, and they actually completed it a few days after that on the 26th, I believe. So it's like now the quarter 2 report, which the acquisition of Crystal Dynamics and the other studios from Square Enix that were purchased, all of that falls under this report, and this report will be held on November 17th of 2022. They updated this like I want to say maybe like a week or two ago, or that's when I checked it, like a week or two ago. But yeah, I'll be streaming this. We'll hang out and check this out live, because this is where you're gonna get some maybe meaningful information about Avengers. I'm pretty sure they're gonna talk to someone from the studios. I know they're gonna talk about Tomb Raider. I know they're gonna probably talk about Legacy of Kain, and they saw, like, even with the past report, they got flooded with questions about the future of Avengers. And like myself, Sadat, I know we both posed questions to them that they said they would ask during the interview, but they pretty much rose all of our questions into one question, because they couldn't really speak about it because the deal wasn't finalized, which I respect. But this will be the report that you will get info about what's going on with Crystal Dynamics, the acquisition, the long-term vision for the studios, how they plan to operate, and things like that. Similar, if you checked out the last report, you got similar information from the studios they acquired in quarter 1, and in quarter 2 you can expect something similar with from Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and things like that. So this is the news I was telling you guys about with Embracer Group. I know a lot of people ask like almost every day, like, what is going on with Embracer? What can they do? What do they plan to do? What's going on with this game? Where are we going, and things like that. And it's like, I honestly think you saw what they planned, like what they brought to the table. Like when they gave them funding or gave them the green light to do more hiring, I think that's pretty much what it was. Like that's that's about all they plan to do. They don't really micromanage, and they're not really hands on with the studios. They accept your pitch, they hear what your vision is, and if they believe in it, they'll put you in a position to execute. So if you're not a fan of the way Avengers has been managed thus far, Embracer really isn't going to come in and change anything about that. Especially if they really sold them on their vision for the game, and they gave them a timetable that they felt they could, that works for both Embracer and the studio. Now, if they start to fail to meet deadlines and under deliver on what they initially advertised in their pitch, then it's like, then you may have to step in and have another conversation. And recently, Embracer did shut down a couple studios, mainly with dealing with mobile games and things like that. But it's not all rainbows and cotton candy over there. Like, it's a business. They are in the business of making money from acquiring these studios working on video games. What's good, Craig? Appreciate you coming through, bro. Appreciate the prayers, bro. Appreciate the positivity as always. Like I said, I'm getting better, bro, and I'm getting back into the mix of things. Now, I appreciate you guys coming through as always. If you haven't already, make sure to drop a like. Definitely supports the stream. So that always jokes dead game. Yeah, man. me and him joke in each other's stream about that all the time, in pretty much everywhere around the community. But it's like even with the narrative of the dead game jokes and everything like that, is like I get it. It's like this game isn't. You've seen a significant drop in players in recent weeks, I would say. Like the amount of players that are currently playing on Twitch, those numbers are dwindling, rapidly. People are having a harder time with matchmaking. And it's due to a number of reasons. So one, people are genuinely just kind of bored on the game. There's not much content, meaningful content to play in the game that you can play consistently, like a day in a day out thing. So if you've been playing since day one, you've been burnt out on this game. And the content you got in 2.6 didn't really do anything for you. So those people are having a good time in Gotham Knights, playing Ghostbusters. You got a ton of games, hitting the market, even Marvel Snap, just simple stuff. No matter what it is, people are just kind of branching out, and that's good. And that's where the beauty of Marvel's Avengers being a live service game comes in, because yes, you can have the freedom to step away, but hopefully you'll come back once we drop some new content. The downside is they can't release content at a fast enough clip to kind of sustain player engagement, and just people, it's the age of technology. People want what's coming next now, so people are already talking about the next movies coming out in the MCU for 2025, 2026 already, and they are fast tracking to try to hurry up and get there. So they're counting down the days and things like that. That's just how we as a society operate now. And again, with a game like this, is that struggles to deliver both content and communication, is like your audience kind of wavers. It's just like anything else on social media. So if you go MIA, a large part of your audience may not return when you do return, and that's something you have to deal with and be prepared for. And I know the narrative is, that's pretty much the end of the road for Avengers, because a lot of people are kind of down on the Winter Soldier in general, because news broke out that he is going to be more of a clone than people may have believed initially, which means he's going to have more in common with other characters like Captain America, Black Widow, and I've heard there's some other characters mixed into his kit, but it's all remixed, so it's not like just copy and paste, as for lack of a better term, because that's what's popular. So it's not like he's not a direct copy of anyone, and he'll have elements of different heroes in his kit. But a lot of people are like, bro, like this what we got. We're at the point where we're just getting echo characters. So that narrative starts getting a lot of steam behind it, and you know it's hard to combat that. It's really hard to combat that when you don't have anything. You don't know what's coming next, so you can't be like, oh well, Bucky's for right now, Captain Marvel's next, or Doctor Strange is next. You don't know what's next, and like I said, it's a gift and a curse. There's room to surprise people with that, and there's also room to disappoint people. And the current rumor right now is he may be up next. War Machine could be up next. This could be the time to introduce War Machine, because they're kind of still in the middle of transitioning, so they don't have the resources available to really go all in on making a holistically new character. So somebody like Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, who you want to be built fresh from the ground up with all new gameplay elements and things like that. So Doctor Strange, you don't expect him to play like anybody. You get what I'm saying? You don't expect him to play similar to Thor, or be punching like Iron Man or anybody like that. You want completely unique gameplay for a character like that, or even Captain Marvel. And allegedly they're not at that place in as far as team team staffing to be able to do something like that at this point in time. So a character like a War Machine would probably be a little more or less challenging. Although they will make him unique, it's still just a less of an uphill battle than going all in on Captain Marvel right now. So if they did slate in Captain Marvel right now as the next character to come after Winter Soldier, it would probably be a long time before you saw that character. So you probably wouldn't see them until probably sometime in June. You get what I'm saying? So to go from whenever Winter Soldier arrives, so November, December, to June, when you get another actual hero, the narrative and the just public conversation around the game is just gonna be super 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 negative, and it's like I really don't have I don't know what to advise them on that front, because it's like it's kind of like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't at this point. So it's like you want people to be excited about what you're working on, and like I said, they allegedly are working really hard with the team they have to deliver what they can, and to do all of this work for a character that people immediately, as soon as the hero is announced, people are like, oh my god, like what is that? You get what I'm saying? Or I'm uninstalling, or I'm out of here. Like you were excited about Winter Soldier, but when they announced them, a lot of public reception was like, what is this? Like after Jane Foster, oh, now we're getting a copy of Captain America and Black Widow. Nobody wants that. We want bigger characters. We want people who can fly. We want Doctor Strange. And then it's like, okay, we'll still be optimistic. Who's next? And then you follow it up with War Machine. What's the narrative? Oh my God, another Echo, another clone. This game is dead. And you get what I'm saying? So it's like the public perception just isn't really going to get better anytime soon. And again, I know that kind of paints image of, okay, well, this game just doesn't have a future. Like this game doesn't have a sustainable future because your players are dwindling. Nothing you announce is exciting for them. So you're gonna see less of a return in player base every time you have a dip. So these dips are going to hurt more and more every time players leave and things like that. And it starts to like I said, make the outlook of the game in general look kind of bleak. But I feel like it's still I feel like they're taking steps to kind of edge along to something that could ultimately be good for the game, because I'll get to that in a minute. But I don't think they're like completely out of options as far as like keeping this game going. But you got to ask the question, like, do you even want to? So it's like the developers on this game, I know they some of them, the ones who are like the most vocal on social media, I know you're burnt out. You get burnt out immediately when you get hit with that wave of negativity. Andy, the former community manager, like he was going through it with trying to market and manage the community for this game. He's doing a lot better now that he's with Capcom. But it's like it's like it can be rough, especially on you mentally. And life doesn't take breaks just because you're working on a game you like or something like that. So people still have funerals, people still have family stress, people still have day-to-day problems that you have to deal with, on top of the fact that you have a whole community that's ravenously passionate about a Marvel game / IP that are dumping on you no matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter what comes next. And it's like, realistically, I can see the lineup for next year being War Machine, She-Hulk, and then Captain Marvel. And it's like, would that even be a good year? You get what I'm saying? Like, would that be enough to validate another year for Avengers? And it's like, you don't know how long it's going to take to get those characters and actually launched into the game. You don't know what content is going to come beside that, outside of we know they're allegedly working on patrol mode. That's supposed to be the next big thing, and I think I've heard that that's going to kind of change the outlook of the game. Like, that's going to be the big game changer, as far as content when it comes to the game. It's long-term future. And it's like, you have to ask the question, like, is stuff like that going to be enough? But, you want Doctor Strange, you want Scarlet Witch, and you got to ask yourself, like, at the rate it takes them to get out characters, and, they're committed to, they're still committed to doing the Kree storyline. Like, they brought Nick Fury back to tease it. All you heard about since this game came out is AIM and the Kree. And they have yet to really deliver or wrap up any of those storylines. And it's like, by the time they get there, if they get there, is there not enough room in life in the game to even get to somebody like Doctor Strange or Scarlet Witch, who players are demanding now, but they're not in a position to really deliver on those characters now because according to rumor behind the scenes, if they were to attempt one of these characters now, they would be pretty. They would be clones. You would see a lot of other characters in their kits right now. If they were to attempt to do this, they it wouldn't be what you envision. So what you're envisioning as far as like unique gameplay, flashy powers, and things like that is going to be a lot more underwhelming, because they just don't have the resources. And it's like that's all alleged, but you see what you're getting. You get in Winter Soldier. He's allegedly going to have a lot in common with other characters already present in the game, and we still don't even have an announced release date for him. And he was announced back in August, so it's like we're heading to the end of the year, and we're still saying, "Oh, well, he's coming later this year." So it's like, that's the kind of stuff you got to think about when you're trying to see a future where you get Scarlet Witch or you get Doctor Strange, like 2024, 2025, because we still don't know what's going on internally as far as like how they even pick players. Like heroes. Jane Foster came out of nowhere. So it's like, will someone else just come out of nowhere? Will somebody like Riri Williams, get pulled out of a hat, and now that takes the place of somebody like, War Machine, She-Hulk, somebody else. Maybe Captain Marvel gets pushed back a year because, we decided to do Riri Williams or Shuri or, America Chavez or somebody like that. And it's like people are still demanding people like Ant-Man. So it's like, when you take a step back and realistically look at what this game is able to do, what the team behind it can actually deliver on, it's like you kind of got to manage expectations a bit. So people who are like, "Oh, I want Venom and Ghost Rider," you are far in the weeds. Like I love the enthusiasm, and I get it. I understand, like, because the game itself, the gameplay is awesome. Like these people would be amazing in this game, but it's like, look at what you got this year. Look at, they can't even communicate, and it's not that they don't want to. It's not an issue if they don't want to tell you what's coming or when it's coming. They don't want to say it because they're not committed to it yet, because they aren't sure they can deliver it in the time that they would announce it. So when they announce a date, that's as close to sure as they can get about when that thing is coming. They announced the date of 2.6 like 5 days before it came. So it was coming on the 20th. It came out on September 20th, and they announced it on the 15th. So it's like, this is kind of where you are with the game in general. So it's like, you want Ant-Man. I'm not sure they can deliver on that right now. Maybe if things turn around, maybe if things take a turn for the better, possibly. You want Wasp. I'm right there with you. But when do you expect someone like that to even come to the game? Like, can you do another 2 years of this kind of communication, this kind of content dripping to get to a character like Wasp, Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch? Like, are you going to care in 2 years? You get what I'm saying? Like, that's what you kind of got to ask yourself realistically. People want Falcon. There's a ton. The list is endless of heroes that people want in this game. You got two. You have one hero that was dropped into the game this year, and you have one still to be determined when they're actually arriving and things like that. So it's like, you had a whole year and you got 1.5 heroes essentially, because one is basically Thor, and the other one is a combination of other characters. He's a hybrid character and things like that. So it's like, and this was the best they could do in this year. Like, they worked hard to do that. They worked hard to give you Bucky. They worked hard to give you Jane Foster, who they started on back in December, and you didn't get her until late June. So it's like, they're working hard to give you what they can, and what you got this year should be indicative of what this team is capable of. So it's like, just kind of manage your expectations. That's not me, hating on the game. That's not me putting you down on the game or anything like that, because again, like I said, I think they still have a way to make things work in their favor long term, to kind of turn things around. They just have to change their business model a little bit. I think that's that's the gateway to really turning things around, like just changing the business model. Because currently, just selling skins as a business model, I don't think works. You know, they sell skins, they sell takedowns and nameplates and all of that stuff, but I don't think you're maximizing on the potential that you have with this kind of IP financially, you know, like from a profit standpoint, by just limiting yourself to selling skins. People will pay for content in this game, but you also have to deliver content that's worth paying for. So a campaign is content people are worth that's worth paying for. Single player content wasn't the problem in this game. Yes, you run into maybe a couple graphical bugs and things like that, but that's that's the things that got praised the most. You know, the single player content. And multiplayer content is where you have the most potential financially, because those players are showing up every day, every week. But at the same time, that's your most unstable aspect of the game, because people are dropping out and they can't jump right back in, things like that. So it's like you have a really uphill battle ahead of you. And like I said, Vision, you got a ton of players, and I mean, players wanting heroes like this. Is just when is there a window for them to actually deliver on that? Like, how long are you willing to wait for the Vision? Because people are running out of patience waiting on Winter Soldier, and he was already announced. So he's coming, you just don't know when. You hope he's coming. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, how long are you willing to stick around? It's like, are people still excited about Ultron, the possibility of Ultron being a new villain that's introduced to the game? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, these long droughts of just no content, no communication, it does kind of wane on you, because all you're left with is the game that you have. A lot of people live in what the game can be. They live in the potential of the game. So, if they do this, if they introduce this, if they add this person, if they add this villain, this game could really be something. But the game as is, the game that you have right now, like if no more content came to this game, like if they stop uploading content into the game right now, how long are you going to continue playing Avengers? Like, how long will you continue playing Avengers as it is, as with the characters you have, with the missions you have available? Are you going to show up for Avengers? Is this a game you're going to continue playing day in and day out? Realistically, for most people, no. Most people are going to stop playing this game relatively soon. The second that it's announced they're not going to add any more content, and that's just the reality of the matter, because the game as it's constructed it doesn't offer very much, like, and it's decision making. So they they added new villain sector in 2.6, no rest for the wicked, and you repurpose the boss. So you're fighting Monica again in the EXO, except there's two Monicas in the EXO. There are supposed to be clones in the mission. They don't spawn for me. I've let the development team know about that. Hopefully that gets patched at some point. But essentially, you're fighting Monica and Exos and clones again. And then on the back end of that, the gear isn't worth anything. They gave you the worst set of gear in the game as a reward for playing this new content that's supposed to hold you over until the new mission content and the new hero arrives later this year. So it's like, now people are less optimistic about what you're going to do with gear, when it comes to Cloning Lab. Although realistically, I think they just didn't have time to focus on that, because you are focused on, crafting the gear for Cloning Lab, which is supposed to introduce new, more powerful gear and just a completely new set and everything. So it's like, I get it, but optically it doesn't look great. Just like, they hyped up the new shipment skin, for this month, and we're doing reruns again. You get what I'm saying? So it's like little decisions like that, I feel like, just kind of chip away at the community's patience and tolerance for the bigger things in the game. So it's like, when you really trip and fall, they're not as keen to help you up on, or just bear with you, shrug it off, laugh it off, or anything like that. They're taking mean shots at you, because you've kind of worn them down with just bad decisions here and there, and missions like this, so many people stare at this Avengers tower, well, aim tower right now, but so many people stare at this tower in game just wanting to see the A on that building and be able to actually go inside of that building. So they want this to be the Avengers base of operations, and they're willing to fight for it. They're like, hey, if you give me a mission where I can go in here, clear out every floor, I will tear up every floor, getting to the top so that I can fight whoever you put at the top, and that will give me access to Avengers Tower as a operations base. They're dreaming about that. So, I forgot his name. One of my subscribers, he asks me almost daily to make a video talking about this mission specifically. Like, people have been demanding a mission for where you fight for Avengers Tower since the game came out. The helicarrier is great, but it's only so much room in there, and you've been sitting in the helicarrier for over 2 years at this point. So it's like you kind of get a bit stir crazy, and you're like, all right, well, we do want more environments, we do want more biomes and things like that, and just stuff like this. It's like it should be on the table. It should be on the table, but it's like you're working hard on patrol mode, you're working hard on the next hero, and you're working hard at whatever we don't know that you're currently working on, because they always have something they're working on that isn't announced until it's announced. So no one knew about Xbox Game Pass until it was announced. No one knew about the going free to play with PlayStation Plus tiers until it was announced. And I think that's ultimately the road they're looking to travel, where you go free to play, but you're going to have to communicate that we're going to be selling content going forward. So do you go back and sell the campaigns, to newer players who are accessing the game for free? So not the player. If you already had the game, if you've already had the game, completed those missions and everything, that's yours. I would hope no one would charge you for that. To go back and re-access those missions. I don't see I don't see them doing anything like that. But it's you just have to hope with things like that. So it's like I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt on that. But do you charge newer players to play that content? Do you charge newer players to go and to be able to access Kate Bishop's campaign, the War for Wakanda, and things like that? Do you sell the heroes? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, if you go free to play, you have to sell everything pretty much. So you're new to the game, you don't have to pay for the game, so you save $60, by not having to purchase the game. Well, the game probably haven't been $60 in I don't know how long, but you get what I'm saying. You can try the game out completely free. You can play the campaign, you can play multiplayer for free as long as you got the necessary requirements to play online, but you don't have to pay for that content. But if you want new heroes, if you want campaigns and things like that, in addition to skins and takedowns, you have to pay for that content. And I think people would be willing to pay for that content. The operations, I feel like, are worth, there's value there. The heroes, I feel like these heroes are worth paying for. And again, you just like a game like Mortal Kombat, like you have your base roster, you got the base content, but if you want to access extra stuff like extra characters, extra mission content and stuff like that, you got to pay for that stuff. And I don't think that's unreasonable. I don't think anybody really looks at that as being unreasonable, especially for this game that's depending on marketplace sales to just keep the lights on. So it's like I think that's your best route towards sustainability. So there is no question mark, there is no guillotine hanging over the game constantly about the future of the game, because hey, new players are picking the game up for free, and they're purchasing the content that's available. So I want to check out the War for Wakanda. Let me pay $10 for that. Let me pay $18 for that, or whatever the season pass is. You have challenge cards or battle passes, whatever you want to call them. You have the everything is in the game already. It sells itself. You get what I'm saying? Like, it sells itself. You just have to sell it. You have to actually sell it. So I would hope that is on the docket. Like, that's where we're ultimately going with Avengers, because what do you guys want after the Winter Soldier? I asked you guys this a couple weeks ago. And, a lot of people just want new heroes. A lot of people want new villains. A lot of people, some people want new missions. Some people, they just want better buffs, better things, to just make the quality of life in the game better. But it's like, if you sell content, if you sell the heroes, you can fast track them. You can actually you can expand your team enough or outsource what you need to, because you have the resources coming in to sustain that. You have profit coming in to justify hiring more people. You have profit coming in to give you the freedom to outsource what you can when you can, to fast track more heroes. Maybe you can develop two heroes in the same cycle. You get what I'm saying? So, hey, we have Doctor Strange being developed alongside of Falcon. So we have one team working on Falcon, one team working on Doctor Strange, instead of everybody working on Doctor Strange and maybe a mission or something like that. It's like, when you actually have money coming in, like a large profit coming in consistently, that opens so many doors. And I think that's something they should explore by going free to play. This is the poll I asked you guys. I posted for you guys yesterday, asking you, do you think the lack of consistent communication will kill Avengers? 88% of 1,300 people said yes. And it's like, that's unfortunate, because it's communication should probably be the easiest part of about managing this game or promoting this game. Like, and it seems like they have such a hard time working with Marvel compared to everybody else. Like, the mobile games are able to get what they need from Marvel just fine. So the mobile games have content lining up with movie releases and cross promotionals and all of that stuff just fine. Nobody else is having the problems that Avengers has. Spider-Man on the PS4, PS5, PC game had no problem getting some of the No Way Home suits available ahead of the release of that movie or any of the other movies. So when Far From Home dropped, you got those skins in that game, just fine. But Avengers is like, they consistently run into this wall where it's like, oh, well, we have to get them to sign off on this. We have all this red tape stuff. We are getting told, no, we don't have access to certain skins you guys want and things like that. And it's like, why is it so hard for this specific game when everybody else seems to be doing okay? Deadpool, can market for Midnight Suns right now. Like, they did a whole marketing campaign and he wasn't even announced. He announced himself, with the marketing. He announced other upcoming heroes with the marketing, through marketing, and that game isn't even out yet. So it's like, to be like, oh, well, we can't communicate about anything until it's, the day it's coming out or the week it's coming out. Is like, why are you so, hand tied when everybody else seems to be so much more free? You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. But, looking back at last year, so September 8th, 2021, you got this roadmap. This was the roadmap for the end of the year content. They for whatever reason, they added stuff that was already on there, that was already released, like War for Wakanda, and then they advertising a skin that's coming out for Black Panther, and then in fall, winter, you're getting, the Spider-Man hero event, you get the raid, you got all of this stuff coming in, and this was September 8th, right? And then they followed that up November 4th by updating that with an official date. So November 4th, you learned that on November 30th, this content was coming, right? And it's like, what? Keep in mind, they announced it back in September. September 8th, at the start of September, they announced this is what's coming later in the year. And later in the year, got a specific date of November 30th. So it's like, what's going on with branding and marketing this year, to the point where we can't even say, you announced them back in August. You get what I'm saying? You announced the guy back in August, and it's like, we're in November now. We're heading towards the middle of November, and we're still in the dark about when this guy is actually coming. When is this content expected to come? And it's like, back in July, they go free to play for a weekend, and they saw a nice boost in player numbers and everything like that. And again, it's like, this is the way. To quote the Mandalorian, this is the way. People with the public perception around this game, most people aren't willing to pay for this game. When most people talk about this game, it's mostly in a negative capacity. And when they do pick it up, or the people who have given it a chance, they've either found it for very cheap, or they got access to it for free. And those people always, I'm telling you, they always come into the community at some point and say, hey, I'm loving this game. I actually like this. I wish I would have tried it out sooner. This game isn't as bad as you guys make it out to be. Why is public perception so negative around this game? But they only gave it a chance because it was either dirt cheap or because it was free. So if you go free to play, more people will give this game a chance. Like 100%. I guarantee you that more people will pick up Avengers, download Avengers, and load up Avengers for free than they will right now, because they don't want to pay for it. They don't want to get gypped. They don't want to pay money and then the game shuts down. You get what I'm saying? Because that's what a current fear is for a lot of players. They like, hey, I don't want to pay money for a game and then you stop content updates, or you announce the game is dying right after you got my money, or I get in and I buy skins and things like that, and now you get what I'm saying? Now the game is shutting down when y'all made it seem like, hey, everything was fine. They don't want to be victimized in that way. So if they don't have to spend any money up front, they'll be a lot more open to trying your game out. And when people try the game, especially the campaign and single player content, they're like, I really like this. I love what you did with the story. I love the graphics. I love running around in my favorite MCU costumes and things like that. So it's like, free to play is the way. I know people, make videos and pose the question all the time, like, is Avengers dying? Is, can they survive? Can, or this will save the game. This will literally save the game. This right here, going free to play, all access. You can access Avengers 100% free, no risk at your wallet. You get what I'm saying? Is the way you get people to come in and pick up this game at this point, because marketing isn't going to save this game, because they don't seem to have any desire to try to save the game, with marketing. Your new content is not being met with a lot of enthusiasm. It's not. It just isn't. And again, if you announce Winter Soldier or She-Hulk on the back end of Winter Soldier, that's going to be met with waves of criticism, waves of negativity. But if it's free, if you can access the game for free, you will have a huge influx of new players coming into the game who will be very excited about accessing that upcoming hero you get what I'm saying? But again, that's where you kind of got to flip it on them, because you got to start selling that. You got to start selling that content. And that's where you force the players to put their money where their mouth is. So like, you want the game to survive, you want these heroes, you want them to come faster, you want, single player content. Show us by paying for it. You got to pay for that stuff. So when you want new content in Mortal Kombat, you got to pay for that. You want new operators and things like that in Call of Duty, you got to pay for that. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a live service game. You got to live like it. Destiny charges players for stuff all the time. What's good, Preach? And what's good, Meepa? I hope you guys are doing well. Preach, I hope you've been doing well health-wise, man. Always hoping things are going well for you. And if you guys haven't already, make sure to drop a like. Definitely help support the channel. I see we got 61. Let's try to get that up to 100. I appreciate it. But free to play is the way out for Avengers. Like, go bold, man. Go bold, and because it is a good game at the core. You have a solid narrative crafted, around your campaign. You have very, very good, rewarding gameplay. Alex, the guy who works on gear, if he can make things work. You did hero buffs recently to make your heroes feel a lot more engaging and stronger and things like that. What's good, Blue Lion? How you doing, bro? Iron Tazio, what's up? Or Trazio, how you doing, bro? Any news on 2.7? Not yet. We got an Embracer report coming up next week on the 17th. So I'll be streaming that for you guys. So we should hear what's going on, or what the plans are for Avengers and Crystal Dynamics in general, like their other projects and things like that. sometime next week during that report. But no official news. This Monday. It's 11 o'clock on a Monday. I don't expect them to drop any news today. They could surprise us. If they do, you'll definitely hear about it from me. But I'm not going into the day or the week expecting that. When they announce something, they'll announce something, and hopefully it's something to be excited about. Hopefully it's a trailer or something like that. Like I said, we just don't know what to expect at this point. But going free to play and selling the content that they have available, I feel like is the best route to really giving this game a sustainable future long term. They did Game Pass on the 30th, on the 30th of September. They announced it on the 28th. So looking back at you had and this is just this is just what they were doing last year. They did a lot of promo on social media for the Omega level threat mission last year. The family reunion, they were promoting that back in July and a little bit before July. Little clips, just promo, just promoting what's coming up. Now it seems like they just drop what they have, the day of. It's like they're putting it off as long as possible. Which is why the perception is, these people are reluctant to actually do actual promotional work for the game, which is like what that can't be good for the game long term if the people who are actually being paid to promote it don't really want to do that. That's how it comes across. Like, I don't want to make a blog until I absolutely have to make the blog. So, it's coming out on the 17th. All right, just the 15th. I have to do the blog today. That's not what you want to see. Like, Gotham Knights, they seem to have a lot of fun promoting their game. Midnight Sun seems to have a lot of fun promoting their game. And it's like that's what you want. Like, if you're not passionate, you can't expect the people you want to interact with your game to be passionate. It's like, I hope they do better on that front, but it just seems to be what it is at this point. But yeah, Game Pass raised the player base numbers a lot. They don't promote their player base numbers publicly, but if you can chat with a dev, they'll tell you. They'll let you know, like, going free to play on Xbox Game Pass, definitely gave them a boost, and they definitely got another boost when they went free to play with PlayStation Plus tiers. What's good, Eastwood? Appreciate you coming through, bro. What's good, Kenneth Jones? Appreciate everybody coming through, man. Like I said, it's my first day back. I just wanted to stream really quick. I'm probably gonna have to wrap up in probably about another 15-20 minutes, but I want to come back later today and do some raids with you guys, do some OLTs. Like I said, I haven't been playing much at all, but I've low key kind of been missing the game, and I can hop back into it, and walk you guys through some content. I'm gonna sit down tonight and work on that Hulk build video that I owe you guys. Like I said, life kind of hit me hard, these past few weeks. So but I know you guys look to me to kind of keep that hype for you guys, like keep hype alive for the game, and it's like they don't make it easy, and I'm a realist by nature, so it's like I can deal with the reality of things just not looking great, long term for the game. But I know a lot of people, especially under the weight of just negativity hitting you from all sides around this game, is like it's hard to stay optimistic, and you look to channels like mine to just keep some kind of hope alive for the game. So it's like, no, I'm not down on the game. I don't hate the game. I will never make a video talking negatively about the developers, the game itself, the community, anything like that. We got enough negativity going on. And as I was just reminded at my family member's funeral yesterday, bro, life is short and it can wrap up without notice. So you definitely got to be intentional with how you choose to spend your days. And I choose to spend my days, positively and doing what I enjoy. I don't have time in my schedule to spend hating stuff or people. So that's just not. You don't have to worry about getting that here. But we are gonna take a turn content wise with this channel. Like, I'm not veering off from Avengers, but there is a lot of stuff I've been wanting to do. I want to explore more. I want to kind of try more things out, and we're gonna start getting into that. I kind of burned myself out, trying to just give you guys news about, Avengers, the Winter Soldier news, developer updates and stuff like that. And it's like none of that was really what I had envisioned for my channel when I first started it. It's like I know you guys respond to that stuff, but it's like with the way the game is trending, it's like telling you what a developer said on Twitter about what the future of the game is or what he's working on and stuff like that is like, as with these long stretches of no real meaningful communication and no content coming out for months at a time, is like no one really cares. No one cares what a developer tweeted about, what he's excited about, what he's doing and things like that. And that's no shade to the developer. There's nothing wrong with, simply saying you're excited about what you're working on, but that doesn't do anything for people who are like literally starved for content for this game. So it's like I'm kind of veering off away from that kind of stuff. Like I said, I don't really promote the skins over here. I don't get paid to promote skins for Avengers. Again, nobody cares when it's like this. When the game really doesn't have anything really going on, that's the last thing you want to hear. So you show up every week looking for a blog update that's going to tell you when something meaningful is coming, and all they have to say is, "Hey, here's this new skin that you don't care about," or "Here's a disappointing recolor," or something like that. Is like, I don't want videos or the conversation surrounding stuff like that. There's other stuff that we can talk about that I can actually inform you guys about that you may not know, because I know a lot of people don't really even know a lot of Bucky's origin story, like a lot of his information from from the comics. They're mostly familiar with him from the MCU. So there's a ton of stuff I can talk to you guys about with Bucky, just from his experiences in the comics, his runs in the comics, his some of the people he fought against, some of the people he's assassinated, while working as the Winter Soldier and things like that. So I want to do informative videos like that, as well as kind of diving into some of the conversations surrounding the MCU, because it's like I want to do a quick review for the Black Panther again. Like I haven't watched that movie since I saw it back when it initially came out. And I got thoughts on that, and it's like that's something I want to share, because I want to do a review for not War for Wakanda Forever, when I check that out this in a couple of days. So it's like just stuff like that. It's like I enjoy the conversation with you guys. I enjoy playing Avengers with you guys and things like that. But it's the trying to drum up news for this game is almost impossible. That's like trying to find water in the desert. Almost, it's like I'll always check the Steam DB website to let you guys know when an update is dropping. So news like that is meaningful. But like what was that, like a couple months ago, Nick E was talking about, hey, we're looking to have a update blog out by the beginning of what was that, August and or September. I can't remember when it was exactly, but it went way past that before we actually even heard anything or saw a blog about that. I think it was at the beginning of August, and we didn't hear anything until like past the middle of August or something like that. And it's like it's not even worth telling you guys about that, because it's like they honestly don't know. They're just saying stuff online. So it's like I'm not doing that kind of stuff anymore. But we'll talk about the interesting things about Avengers, and like I said, I can flesh out Bucky's background and stuff like that for you guys, because a lot of people are more familiar with his MCU story versus the comics, and he has a lot of interesting things in the comics. Like Bucky is a very interesting character, and I think there's a interesting conversation around that. And like I said, I know currently the conversation around the Black Panther being recast and everything like that is big news. And it's like I have thoughts on that as well. So it's like stuff like that is the things we'll be talking about in upcoming videos, on top of just covering Avengers news in general. And like I said, giving you guys that build video I promised about the Hulk. Like I said, I am not the build guy. Like I want to put together a list of people. Like I just want to spotlight the people who really do work really hard on going hard on builds and introduce you guys to those players so you can follow them. And the reason that I share my builds with you guys, because I focus on giving, on showing, or I focus on gear that you can get yourself. Like a lot of the gear that the top tier players go after is like you got to save scum to get it, and you really got to work to get those stats and everything. So it's like, to hit the way that they're hitting, you got to have that specific gear piece that's not easy to get. You got to have those specific stats to hit the way that they're hitting, and things like that. So it's like my builds are always a lot more casual, laid back. Like my Hulk build, he just simply doesn't die. Like he can wreck, he can do damage and everything, but he's not hitting as hard as some of the people who are really going all in on damage and things like that with the Hulk. But if the build I'm going to show you guys, the gear you can find in multiple places. You can farm it if you want to. You don't necessarily have to save scum, but it's feasible. My builds are feasible, but at the same time, it's like I'm not a super gear guy. I'm not a super build guy, and things like that. So it's like when you guys ask for it, that's the only reason I really kind of showcase it and things like that. But there are people who I follow who showcase builds and things like that I kind of mimic and try to replicate where I can. So I try to spotlight stuff like that. But like I said, we're gonna be ramping up soon. We're gonna be getting back into content weekly, daily. I think my last video was only a couple days ago, so it's like I haven't been going that long, but it feels like it's been a long time. But like I said, we're gonna be doing a lot. I'm getting back to my original vision for my channel, where it's like, yeah, I like to speculate about things about the game. I like to talk about different my just share my thoughts on things. Like I'm pretty good at guessing what they can do, or what they will do with characters. Like if you check out some of my videos, like my Spider-Man video, where I was talking, my very first video I was talking about Spider-Man and what I wanted to see introduced with his build and his kit. A lot of that stuff made it in. A lot of that stuff is what they ultimately decided to do. And I did the same with Jane Foster. So it's like I'm pretty good at kind of speculating about where they're going to go with certain things. Like I guess I'll call it guessing, but I make some pretty good educated guesses about where things could go with things like characters and story and stuff like that. I think I was right about the Bucky situation with No Rest for the Wicked, where he could have been the person that was driving the Quinjet for Monica, where she was telling him like, oh, I'll deal with you later. I think that may have been him. I was under the impression that maybe maybe the dialogue was delayed or something like that, so she should have been talking to somebody else. But I think it actually was him, and especially now that it was revealed or leaked that in his story he will be working for AIM, or will have been working for AIM. So Monica allegedly restarted the Winter Soldier program, or Winter Soldier. She reactivated him as the Winter Soldier and had him doing missions and assassinations for her. So that theory could very well pan out, and it's like we'll find out eventually whenever Cloning Lab and the Winter Soldier arrive in the game. But it's hey, I'm interested. I'm still interested in the future of the game. I'm still interested in checking out the Winter Soldier, but I understand if you are a little more down on the game since it's been so long and this year has been pretty rough. So it's like I get it, and like I said, I'll do what I can. I will do what I can to be positive about this game while being realistic and objective. So I will not sell you false positivity that I don't feel, and I won't sell you false hope that I don't believe. But as long as I can see a avenue for them to still, hang around and get out content, I'll be here. I'm like I said, I'm excited at the idea of them, possibly doing War Machine as the next hero. I just really hope we don't have to wait super long to get him. So I will hope we don't have to wait until June to get a hero after Winter Soldier whenever he drops. But you never know with this game, and as always, I will keep you guys updated about whatever comes my way. I'll set up a stream so you guys will know about it for the 17th when Embracer Group is going to do their Q2 report, which will feature news about the recent acquisition of Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and those studios they acquired from Square Enix, as well as those IPs. Like I said, I know the narrative around the game is always going to be is dying, because it is, it's going to die in, or let's point to this thing, that thing, this thing, saying this is a sign that the game is going to die. But the game isn't dead until it's dead, and they always have something up their sleeves that we don't know about. So, it's not in a great spot, but it can be better, and we don't know all the details. So, hang in there. Like I said, I'll try to be around later today. I gotta run now. I'll try to be around later today to do some raids with you guys and just chat a bit more. But we're definitely gonna be sticking with Avengers over on the channel. It's not dead to me. I'm not switching up on you guys, and I'm definitely not in a position where I hate the game or anything like that. So we will keep rocking as usual. I appreciate you guys so much as always. Thank you. If you can, make sure to drop a like if you enjoyed the stream. I appreciate that. And I will catch you guys later today.